Hey, just to let you know, I'm recording for my show on Sunday,
Yeah.
so this piss is going to be on the air.
What?
The show's going to start with a
I'm not gonna be on
thunderstorm.
Sunday.
What?
I'm not on Sunday. You said somebody else was on Sunday.
Actually, they haven't got back to me, so you want to do the show on Sunday?
Maybe, sure.
What do you mean, maybe?
Yeah, if nobody, if the guys.
So wait, so like, should we start the show with like the fact that you were going to take a piss in my front yard at about in front of the neighbors over there that are like that are starting the show?
Sure. I was just out at Cabela's, man, way out in Ridgefield. Man, it was pouring like nuts, man. You couldn't even see out there, man.
Didn't pour quite as
No.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna go over here and take a piss.
No, go in the bathroom.
No, I can go in the yard. It's
No,
easy.
go in the bathroom.
Can I just go in the backyard?
That's disgusting. Can you?
You do
yeah,
it all
yeah.
the
Of course,
time.
you can go in the bathroom.
All right, fine.
No, you can go in the backyard, man.
Now the cat got
It's
out.
it's like still light out. Hey, Dave. I was picking up some ghosts. Did you guys hear? I picked up some
I'm going
ghosts.
back outside.
I'm picking up ghosts on this recorder.
I'm going back outside.
Thanks a lot, Dave, for pissing in the bathroom. Okay, this is the start of the show, Andre. Do you want to say anything?
Back outside.
This is we're recording for the show. Dave's going to do the show with me on Sunday night. He came over and announced that he went to take a piss in the front yard.
If you hadn't have been there, I was gonna take a piss in the front yard.
What do you got to say, Andre?
Let's go back outside.
I don't know.
So, do you want to welcome everyone to the show?
Nope.
It's
Chuck, let's
the,
go
it's
back
the
outside.
Santiago and Chuck show. Do you want to welcome everybody?
Nah.
Let's go back outside.
Okay. Yeah, so
Did Santiago get in touch with you about the show?
Santiago.
Was he mad?
No, he thought it was really funny.
What I was talking about?
Damn, I'm overmodulating this.
Wait.
Your laugh was really loud. Hey, this is the beginning of the show, Dave. So, roll with the show. Okay, so no swearing.
Okay.
Hey, let's do the this disclaimer. Everything that is about to happen on here, everything that's about to happen for the next 45 minutes, we've already done about 10. But the preceding 10 minutes also was if anything that anybody wants to sue over happened, you have to sue Santiago. And he doesn't have much money, I don't think. Maybe he does. Or you can sue Chuck.
You feel
But definitely don't sue River West Radio or its parent company, which doesn't exist. But,
Can you feel how cool it's getting out here now?
yes.
So what did Santiago think of the show on
He thought it was pretty funny, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
He thought it was...
I listened to it. It was actually it was pretty funny.
Was I sounding all weird? Like, Santiago, did you go get a plate of Wiener Schnitzel? was that all?
You're starting with the wiener. I like it, man, because like I totally had forgotten about the Wiener Schnitzel.
Remember when you like criticized me on the air because I was making those German voices? I was like, oopa sheepa yeah.
I don't remember that, not at all. So what did I say?
Nothing.
Oh, you had offended like half the
Something like that, yeah.
speaking population. It was a pretty offensive show, man. It was offensive in a very Plato-ish way. You know, like harmless. It was kind of offensive in a harmless way. You know, right? Don't you
Right.
think? Yeah. So should we go to like us talking now? Should we?
I'm going to Conejito's pretty soon. We're not going to record the show now. We're going to do it
No,
Sunday
this is
night.
no. So like this is the opening to the show. Should we go to us live talking now?
Right
or
now?
Should we cut? No. I mean, should we stop? Should this be the end of the opening segment?
Right, this should be it. This should be
it. Okay. All right. Hey everybody. Hey everybody.
Hey, everybody.
It's the Chuck and Santiago show.
And I'm Dave. I'll be filling in once again for Santiago.
How's everything going?
It's going good.
So we're gonna. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, but the music's a little loud.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry. How's that?
Fine.
That's a little better.
Yeah.
So I think we should just like rip right into the show.
Let's do it.
We've already
Let's
started,
do
so
it.
we read the disclaimer.
Let's do
I
it.
think it was, that's when I read
Let's
again, just
do
in case,
it.
But it's, welcome to the Chuck and Santiago and Chuck show, Chuck and Santiago show, Santiago and Chuck show. My name is Chuck, and I'm the producer of the show. The things you're about to hear are all from the Chuck and Santiago show, and the views expressed are from the Chuck and Santiago show, and the people making them, who is Dave from the Chuck and Santiago show, Santiago and Chuck show, and the River West Radio is not liable for anything that we do.
All right, well, we got a new segment
wait,
tonight.
I'm going to introduce that.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, so we have a new segment tonight, and Dave's going to introduce it right now.
We got a new segment tonight, folks. The music's got to go down a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. All right, we got a new segment tonight. It's called Reader's Mailbox, and that's where if we get letters during the week, we are going to address them on the air. And we actually got one this week. We got an email from, of all places, Berlin, Germany. And we don't like to name the people who write these things, but we will read what the comments are. S, just using the first initial, S, from Berlin, Germany writes, "Hey, Chuck, heard the show. It was really good. You did a good job, both you and Wiener Dave." Wiener Dave. That's what the comment was from Berlin, Germany. So thought we'd address that on the air tonight. That was our Reader's Mailbox segment. The Reader's Mailbox.
Uscivano dalla fabbrica e occupavano le strade attorno, facevano blocchi stradali, imponevano collette agli automobilisti e cose di questo genere. Fenomeni che poi si sono abbastanza generalizzati spesso, ma che in effetti, date le dimensioni di Mirafiori, date le dimensioni di quel problema, anche di semplificazione, tante cose sicuramente.
The music's a little loud.
I got it down now again. So today we have
The funny thing
I can't hear you at all though.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. We got a new segment, and I'm going to surprise Dave with it, but he knows all about it. But I'm just going to get it all set up. Okay, so if you don't mind, we're just going to roll through.
While you're setting up, I got a question for you. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Why is it I heard that your new name is Duck Quacker?
You know, the one thing about doing this show with you was that I was thinking, I hope Dave doesn't come up with anything like starts coming up with something completely random, like stream of consciousness that's not planned, because it's gonna be lame.
No, nothing. I wasn't trying to interfere with the subject matter. I was just asking why some people call you the Duck Quacker. You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Yeah, you know, so I was thinking that, wow, we can get into trouble here if Dave...
I'm not going to say anything bad. I actually know the answer to the question. It's a rhetorical question.
Okay, why Dave?
You're called the Duck Quacker because you quack like a duck.
Terrible. I'm gonna do... So I'm just throwing down, man. I'm going to freestyle on GarageBand. It's coming up in a second.
We got a big segment planned for you guys tonight. There was some really interesting
hold on.
topics.
Yeah, I want to introduce it.
You will introduce it, yeah.
So I gotta go musical typing.
That's good
I go
coffee.
for that.
There's one more problem.
Rock it out.
We're gonna have to get a bigger pot.
Okay, so
Get Folgers mountain grown coffee.
here, I like
You'll like the flavor.
So, hi everyone. Welcome to the Santiago and Chuck show. Thank you. Hey, thanks everybody. Well, I want to introduce something today, which is our new segment. Or no, it's a topic today, and it's Dave's going to talk about dreams.
Just give me the go-ahead.
That was it. So you were telling me about this house first of all.
Oh
Maybe
yeah, and
start
I
with
want to
that.
talk about a very strange thing happened to me a little bit. Very strange, and I kind of want to get into this topic about.
Hey Dave, I think we're not being natural tonight. We're being a little stiff.
For what?
We're not being natural. We're not like flowing. We're not flowing.
Yeah, we're flowing just fine.
We're stuck. Okay, so okay, go ahead.
What makes you think we're not flowing?
I just wanted to see if I could break that. I felt like the energy was a little kind of stale, and I wanted.
Well, I think you felt wrong.
Okay, go ahead then.
Anyway, I want to get into this topic tonight about dreams. Reality versus dream. What I'm trying to say about is this. Have you ever had something, a memory in your mind, and it's been so long that you can't remember if it was a dream or if it was something that really happened? Two such occasions have occurred in my life, and one occurred last week, and it's driving me absolutely nuts. Let me explain a little bit about it to you. Many years ago, I recall seeing an unusual house on Milwaukee's north side. It was a very unusual house.
Hey,
I can't.
Here, let me break up this monologue with some questions.
Yeah.
So where was that house? Or do you wanna
Well,
start?
the house, as I was going to get to, as I recalled it, was somewhere around 90th and Villard Avenue on Milwaukee's north side. Okay?
Yeah.
So let me explain a little bit about what the house looked like. The way I remember the house, I usually remember houses that are very unusual looking. And this particular house, it was odd looking. It was almost looked like a brick old antique house made out of bricks, and it had all kinds of weird statues in front of it and stuff like that. This was a number of years ago. I remember seeing it, and I seem to remember it being around 90th and Villard Avenue in Milwaukee here. So, got any questions you want to ask me before I move on?
I'm listening.
All right. So, this past week, I decided to go looking for the house.
Right.
I can't remember the last time I saw it, but I want to say it must have been around 10 years ago or so. Well, I drove out to where I thought it was, around
90th and Villard.
90th Villard. Not only was there no house there, but the neighborhood didn't even look like the way I had pictured it looking. So then I got to thinking, well, maybe I mistook it. Maybe it was around 80th and Villard. So I kept going down Villard. And Villard's a difficult street because it cuts off and you got to go back around and back around. Anyway, finally I get down to 76 in Villard. And I'm like, maybe it's on 76 in Villard. Well, I still can't find it. Well, by this point, I'm completely obsessed. I've gone completely mad. So what do? I drive all the way down Villard, to like about 20th. And then I turn around and come back up Villard all the way to about 110th, frantically looking for this house. Well, I can't find it. And then I got to thinking maybe I mistook it. Maybe it was on one of the streets next to Villard. So I did the same thing with Grand Tosa, which is another street over that way, and a couple others. I wound up driving around for 3 hours around this neighborhood looking for this house. And I could not find this house. And I got to thinking in the end, could I have just dreamt it? Or was it something that I really saw? And now I'm completely confused because I cannot remember if the house came to me in a dream that I've always remembered from years ago, or if I really saw this house. It's driving me crazy, and you cannot miss this house. It's a very distinctive looking house, so it would be impossible to miss this house. The music's too loud, okay? So I got to thinking, could I have just dreamt it? And then I got to thinking about a similar situation years ago. I remember a brother and sister who I seem to recall playing with, but I can't remember if they really existed or if it was just a dream, because I can't really find any evidence that they existed. Like,
Wait,
no,
so describe what they were like in the dream, and I also want to hear about.
I don't know if it
what
was a
the house
dream.
like? So what was
Oh, the house. The house was a very
unusual.
unusual. The house was
Why'd you
like,
like it so much?
well, it looked like it had been made out of like bricks and shaped really weird. It was like an odd shaped house. It kind of looked like almost like a, I can't even explain it, just like a gingerbread house or something. And then in front of the house, I seem to recall there were all these weird brick statues, like made out of bricks. Just weird.
What about the other dream?
Well, the other dream, I don't know if it was a dream or not. I seem to recall
These two
from
kids.
Yeah, it was a
So
brother
what
and
were their
sister.
names?
I can't remember, but they had kind of reddish hair and freckles, and I seem to recall playing with them when I was kids. But I can't remember
When you were
now
kids?
if they existed or not. I can't remember. I can't find any record of their being. So I can't remember if they existed
So
or
what
not.
exactly happens? Like, how do you think about it? Or
What I'm confused about are some things dreams that over the years they become so. Have you ever had a dream that you remember and you just keep remembering it from years ago, and it becomes so embedded in your mind that you can't remember if it was a dream or was it reality?
I had some recurring dreams. Is that what you're asking?
But what I'm saying is, have you ever been so confused on a memory that you can't remember, was it a dream or was it reality? Have you ever
No.
had this happen to
I
you
don't
before?
think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, why don't you tell me about one of your reoccurring dreams?
I had this dream. I haven't had it for like, God, it's got to be like almost 20 years, I think. But it's probably like the first 10 or 15 years. No, I haven't been out of high school for 20 years. But I've been out of high school for how long? 30 years?
30 years.
Okay, so I think for about the first 15 years that I was out of high school, I kept having this dream that I had to go back to high school. Like they were revoking my high school diploma, and I had to go back at the age that I was, and it was really stressful. And like now I think, oh, I would be valedictorian. Valedictorian. I would have problems with grammar, but I would work that out because I would pay attention in that class. I would do good in algebra. I would be valedictorian now or whatever. How do you say that? Valedictorian?
Valedictorian.
Yeah, I would probably. So I should have just relaxed and been like, I'll be a much better student. But instead, I would freak out. And I remember that kind of feeling like that. When I would have those dreams, they would linger with me for a few days.
You know, it's odd because I've always had reoccurring dreams about houses, unusual houses. So I'm wondering if this wasn't one of those dreams, but I thought this one really existed. There are 4 or 5 house dreams I had in my life where I can clearly remember the house. And it was a very odd house. Very odd house.
Really? Go ahead. Is that all you're going to say about it?
Well, why don't you ask me a question?
Here, I just want to take this time out to actually, can we just do a break in this segment
Sure.
for a second, and then I want to just remind everyone that try not or not remind everyone. But
I can't hear you.
I want to be trying to be the change that I want to see in the world. That's what it's all about for me, at least right now. I'm really trying to do that. I'm trying to be the change that I wish to see. I think Gandhi, the Mahatma, that was his motto or something. And I also want to check out the man in the mirror. Dave keeps telling me to turn the music down. And I want to blast the So yeah, I had this reoccurring dream about let me think of I don't think I have like sex dreams.
I have house dreams where I always see like a strange house in a lot of my dreams. And it's just odd. I see these strange houses. One I had once was a house down by the river.
Yeah.
It was a weird house. And then another time I had one about a house in Whitefish Bay somewhere that like was weird and I couldn't find it when I went looking for it again. And another odd one I had, this one goes way back to my childhood. I remember the dream still, about an old lady sitting in a house. That's an odd one.
What about the old lady?
God, that's a dream that dates from childhood. It was a dream about an old lady in a house. I still remember it. It's very strange.
Yeah, but so is that what?
She was just sitting like in an upstairs room. Yeah.
Upstairs room. Sounds like that Alfred Hitchcock movie.
No, not Psycho. Did you ever wonder what our dreams mean?
Yeah, I do.
Well, what's your thought on this?
I think usually if I can remember a dream, I can psychoanalyze it pretty quickly, and I can kind of come up with a plausible outcome that makes total sense to me. So yeah, when I was having those anxiety dreams it was about me not. I was in college at the time, I think, or I think it was still like technically like 3 credits short of my bachelor's degree. But, so I've been in college for the whole time, but I think I used to be freaked out, like, oh, I'm not going to finish college, or they're not even going to let me out of high school. So it's kind of some type of low self-esteem or something that I was exhibiting in my college or something, I think.
Very possibly.
But, just, I was a kind of a little bit of a troublemaker when I was in school.
Very possibly.
Hey, you were a troublemaker in school too, weren't you?
I sure was. But those were fun. I remember like goofing around.
I'm not proud of my trouble.
I still have a lot of that in me. I just control it. But like I could still be a total goof off if I wanted to be. It's like I remember, man, it was so fun to just be a goof.
Yeah. Hey, Zav, Dave liked your show. He was listening to it before.
Well, you had some good topics of.
Are they low this time? Oh no, see Dave?
Well, I told him to turn the music down. That was the problem.
Should we start the whole? Oh, they're so much better now. That was it. I can actually.
All right. I wonder if people can hear it. Zob, were you able to hear any of the show?
Barely.
Okay.
There's.
Um,
Oh no. So I guess
I was a
Zav
goof
just
off.
informed us that there's a real good chance that we couldn't hear any of the show so far.
are you kidding me? Oh, no way.
That opening, I liked it. Should we do it again?
No, because let's just see if we can hear the show.
You were a goof off?
I was a total goof off when I was a kid in school. I loved it too. We used to love, man, we'd be sitting back there making fart noises and all that kind of stuff, man. It was great.
I never thought that was kind of humor was funny.
Oh, man.
I never thought
Total
like,
Animal
I was
House
just
humor,
grossed
man.
out by fart noises.
Total, and or like we'd like throw something at somebody on the other side of the room. It would be funny, man. It was so funny. I remember one time when we were
yeah,
about
I got a funny story. Me and my friend who died, he died in a shootout with the cops. But we used to roll an imaginary ball in first through 4th grade. We would and then we'd stick the ball. We'd play catch with an imaginary ball and get all the kids to want to. They'd be like, "Throw us the ball," and then my friend would never. Jimmy Love, he would never.
J Love.
Jimmy Love, he would always. He would never throw anybody else the ball. I think he coerced me, or I shouldn't say coerced, but I was a willing follower. I would put the ball on the desk, and then people would be like, "Kids, throw us the ball."
We need to take a short commercial break for a minute. Yeah,
Okay.
from our sponsor. We have a commercial coming up here.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so play a little commercial here.
Here.
Hey guys, when was the last time you were in San Francisco? Well, the next time you're in San Francisco, stop by Cable Car Clothiers, the finest menswear store in San Francisco, home of the British goods import since 1939. Stop on in and get yourself a Tyrolean Alpine Swiss hat. Cable Car Clothiers, San Francisco, California.
Hey, so should we redo all the segments since we probably didn't? So we started off with dreams tonight, but maybe you guys couldn't hear us.
Chuck, I bet you they
Hopefully
did hear us. We're going to talk about the dream
Think
thing
so?
again.
No, definitely not. We had a new segment. It was mailbag readers. Dave's the readers mailbag.
We can do that part again.
You like that, don't you?
Let's do the
I
readers.
didn't make any. Santiago supplied some sounds. I'm not really DJing the hell out of this show. Let me see. And then.
Shall we do the reader's mailbox again?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We have a letter from S in Berlin, Germany, sent us an email about our show. It said, Chuck, keep up the good work. You're doing a real good job. Both you and Wiener Dave. Just wanted to get that email read.
There's the fireworks from Festa.
Festa Italiana has the fireworks. I hope they heard our show because, man, I thought the first part of our show was really good. Do you want to just play your introductory segment again? Would that make you feel better if you were able to do that? Go ahead. Play it again. Do your introductory segment.
What's that, rain?
Yeah, with the woman talking. Do you have that, the weird voice of the woman talking on there?
Oh,
The ghost.
You know, I couldn't find the ghost. So it was a real ghost because I could hear it when I recorded it. So then here, this is a song that I did last week. I didn't do any new music this week.
Dream the impossible dream. To fight the unbeatable foe. To dream the impossible dream. To find the unbeatable foe. To dream the impossible dream. To fight.
Not loud enough? It's not loud enough still? Okay, go ahead. Hello. So we're not really broadcasting tonight, but that's a big waste of a great show so far. No, but we're not gonna redo all those segments, are we?
I guess we're gonna have to.
Really?
You want to redo the dreams?
No, just keep going. Zav says keep going.
Were you able to hear anything, Zav, at all?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Thanks, Peter. But so where's it?
Actually, I've got a bit of interesting news
What's
for
that?
involving Zav himself.
Oh yeah, do you want to do that segment about the? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I'm going to be joining Zav's sister's organization, the Alliance Francaise.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I'll be joining there.
The Alliance Francaise might sue you now, just so you know.
No, they can't sue me because I haven't said anything. It's Alliance Francaise, Francois. Anyway, on a brighter note,
Go ahead.
sounds like an early '80s punk song. to
On a
me.
brighter note, I made this last week. I didn't make any music this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Chuck, let's talk a little bit about Milwaukee eateries
Really?
before we go into our movie reviews.
Okay, like what do you want to talk about? Which one?
Why don't you name for me 2 of your favorite restaurants in Milwaukee?
Or how about what was that one restaurant that used to be in the Brownport Shopping Center and then had treasure chest?
The Fudge Pump.
No. What was the one that was
No, it wasn't in Barnaby's.
Barnaby.
That wasn't in Brownport. That was on Port Washington
No,
Road.
but there was one in Brownport down Lower Park.
Was there really?
Yeah, you remember that?
Barnaby's. They had great hamburgers. Barnaby's. It was
Yeah.
on Port Washington Road. Right over by the old Milky Way, which is now Cops. I'll go through the whole lineup for you if you'd like.
Sure.
You had Barnaby's, and across the street from there you had the Iron Horse, which was shaped like a train car. Remember that place? The Iron Horse. The Iron Horse. Then, moving along up the street there, you had the Milky Way, which had a big mouse eating cheese on top of it, which became Cops. The burgers were way better at the Milky Way. Oh, yeah. Then you had McDonald's, which is still there.
McDonald's came along. I remember when that came along.
Captain's, no, that you're thinking of Nino's.
Captain's. I remember Captain's. That was
Captain's Steak Joint, yeah. I remember Captain's, but there was a Nino's over there, actually. Does anybody remember Nino's? It had a bowl. Chuck, do you remember Nino's Steak Joint?
I remember, yeah. I had a bowl, right.
A big black bowl head?
I'm totally frustrated. I'm not getting this.
You're not getting what?
These MP3 files to play, man.
Well, Captain's Steak Joint. And then, moving along.
Go ahead, move along.
There was, what else was on Port Washington Road there? Echo Bowl, you remember that place?
It wasn't, Echo Bowl was on Port Road, of course.
Yeah, it's up the street from Nino's. Echo Bowl, and then there was Howard Johnson's, which became the Ground Round.
Okay. Yeah, so now we're just really stuck with all this stuff, huh? Hey, it might work.
Why don't you go ahead and play some music?
I'm trying. It's frustrating. I feel like I broke... Oh, I see. God. Yeah. That's not... Oh, there it is. It's raining. Oh, so that's... Okay, so it's working. Sorry about that, everybody. This is what I wanted to say. Is that like coffee?
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to call the garage, Mrs. Olson.
Oh, thank you so much. I hate to be such a bother.
No bother at all.
Well, while we're all waiting, I'll make some coffee.
Don't you think she's got enough trouble?
Oh, I wish I could make coffee he likes.
I find you have to start with the right coffee, so I always use Folgers.
All coffee's the same, Mrs. Olson.
Oh, no. Different coffees taste different, and I think Folgers tastes best.
Why is Folgers so different?
It's specially blended.
Joe ought to like this. What's Mountain Grown?
Mountain Grown's the richest coffee there
What were we
is.
talking
Try some.
Hey, a great smell coming from your coffee pot?
Uh-huh.
That's good coffee. There's one more problem. We're gonna have to get a bigger
What?
pot.
What were we talking about?
Well, we're getting ready to do movie reviews pretty soon.
Okay, yeah, so now our next segment, which is... But didn't you have something to say to... oh, no, you already said that.
We're going to do movie reviews, and then we're going to do the Batman movie, talk about that a little bit.
So Dave's video picks from... I called... in the last show, I said Video Visions, and one of the times when I described you doing your video picks,
Whoa.
but it's River West Film and Video, yeah.
River West Film Video. It's time for Dave's video picks this week, so put the music down a
Okay,
bit.
so what do you got?
Well, we've got 3 films tonight we're going to discuss that are available for rental here at River West Film and Video.
Okay.
3 classics. The first film I want to discuss a little bit about is one of my all-time favorite suspense films. It's called Duel. Made in 1971. It was the first film directed by who? Steven Spielberg. And it stars character actor Dennis Weaver. Not Doodles, but Dennis. Anybody remember Dennis Weaver? Can anybody name what detective show he played on?
I can.
What was it, Chuck?
McLeod.
Right. He wore a big old cowboy hat. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he would come riding in on
New
a...
York. He'd ride a horse around New York.
Right.
He'd always catch the guy in New York, like on his horse.
Right.
The guy
That
would be
was
driving a Corvette or something.
exactly.
Always. The guy'd be getting away on a Corvette, and McLeod would chase him on a horse.
Right. That's the show. Good job,
Get 'em.
Chuck. You got it, man. That was McLeod for you.
Yep.
Anyway, in 1971, Dennis Weaver teamed up with a young Steven Spielberg to star in Duel, which I think is one of the greatest low-budget films ever made, and it's available for rent here. It's basically the plot is very simple. It was filmed in the California desert. It's about a man on his way to work who suddenly finds himself chased on a deserted California highway by a mysterious truck that's trying to kill him, that's trying to crush him. And the duration of the film is about how he has to keep trying to get away from this truck that's trying to kill him. Now, one of the interesting things about the film is we never get to see who's driving the truck, which just adds to the sheer terror and mystery behind the film. I own a copy of Duel, actually, and I would recommend it. I really would. I'd recommend Duel.
Okay, and so that's your first pick.
Do you have any questions about it?
Not really, because I kind of know a little bit about that movie, and I'm not really interested in it.
Well, now, Charles, let's just go on to the second film now, okay? The second film we're going to review tonight is a little ditty in the store here. It's not that obscure of a film, but it's a really good film. It's kind of forgotten, based on a Stephen King horror novel called Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot's going to be one of your top picks?
Yep, you got it. Did you ever see it?
Yeah, I like it, but...
Well, now, wait a minute. Let's go get in.
You're going to do your...
Can you turn that down a little bit, please? Because I can't hear myself very well.
I thought you had that, you're going to whip out your really super obscure movies.
Well, it's not necessarily super obscure movies. It's about movies in the store that are good and entertaining.
You're right, Dave. You're right. Sorry.
And the thing is we got an obscure one coming up, so just relax.
All right, so Salem's Lot. I like that movie. Was that starring David Hutch?
David Soul, who was from Starsky and Hutch.
His name is David Hutch.
Now I want to give you a little background on the film, though, okay?
Sure.
Salem's Lot was the second novel published by Stephen King. The first novel was Carrie. After Carrie came Salem's Lot. Now, Salem's Lot is an excellent film made in 1979 and directed by Tobe Hooper, who did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist. Salem's Lot tells the story of an odd little town that hides a terrible secret. And the film stars James Mason as one of the bad guys.
Yeah.
Who was an excellent actor, James Mason.
He's the bodyguard or he's the vampire?
He was the bodyguard to the vampire. You might remember James Mason as having played the villain in a famous Hitchcock film called North by Northwest. I don't know if you remember that film or not, but there's a scene in there, I believe it was at Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
And James Mason is the villain in North.
He's the guy that flying the plane.
What? North by Northwest by Alfred Hitchcock.
Cary Grant.
Cary Grant, James Mason, and I think the woman was it Kim Novak? Was that who that was?
Lee?
No, it wasn't Jana Lee. That was Psycho. I think it was.
She was in a couple.
I think it was Kim Novak. Might have been. I don't know. I can't remember who played the woman, but I remember James Mason was the villain.
Janet Leigh was hot to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I loved Kim Novak too when I was young.
Maybe it was Kim Novak. I'm wondering if it wasn't Kim Novak.
And also Vertigo.
Yeah, I think it might have been Kim Novak who was in North by Northwest.
Judy Barton from Vertigo. I was in love with that woman.
Really?
When I was like 14 or 18.
Chuckles.
Yeah.
All right. I never liked Bell Book and Candle that much.
I like Bell Book and Candle too. So.
Oh gosh, what was the name of that cat? Pyewacket. Pyewacket. Yeah, that was the name of her cat. Pyewacket. Pyewacket. Yeah. Anyway, Salem's Lot is a great film. I'd really recommend it. In fact, you know what? I'm so excited talking about Salem's Lot that I just feel like getting up and renting it because it's that good.
It was pretty scary.
It was pretty scary. That was the thing. It was actually
vampires are a virus or something. Right?
It was actually a really well done film. And you know who else was in that film? I don't know if you remember this guy, Lance Kerwin.
Yes, of course.
What was the name of the TV show?
James at 16.
Very good, James at 16. Lance.
He also did that Bedwetter movie. Do you remember that?
Yep, I sure do. Lance Kerwin, a teen idol from days.
He's like Jodie. He's the equivalent of like Jodie Foster.
He was kind of like the boy Jodie Foster.
Yeah, right.
But except he left the industry years ago. And last I heard,
Bobby Benson too.
Yeah, but Lance Kerwin was more entertaining, I thought. Last I heard, Lance Kerwin, I thought I heard this. Don't quote me on it. That he was working as a minister. That he had become a minister in like a youth camp or something like that. James at 16, one of those great shows about a confused youth.
Yeah.
Lance Kerwin. Great actor. And he's in Salem's Lot along with David Soul and James Mason. And the vampire in Salem's Lot is played by a famous character actor called Reggie Nalder, who, believe it or not, has something in common with James Mason. Reggie Nalder was also in a Hitchcock film called The Man Who Knew Too Much. He plays the assassin in the film The Man Who Knew Too Much. Reggie Nalder. So we got an all-star cast in Salem's Lot of classical Hollywood actors.
How did we, so what number are we on as far as picks?
That was pick number 2. Now pick number 3 will be coming up. Did you have any
going to be on the air.
questions?
The show's going to start with thunderstorm.
Any questions about Salem's Lot?
No, I like that movie. It was pretty scary.
Actually, they haven't got back to me.
That's about
so
it.
You want to do the show?
All right, so our last film.
Something about
Yeah,
that.
nobody
that
the
movie
guys
was
that-
scary.
So you started the show with, like, the fact that you were gonna take
I
a
remember
piss in
that
the
really
front
exciting
yard
part
and
when it's
about
like the whole town is
the neighbors
turning
over
and like
there
they're
that
the
were,
last
like,
hope or something like
Well,
that.
what was scary, I remember as a
Going to the
kid,
back.
what scared the heck out of me is when that little boy turns into a vampire. That was
Yeah.
scary because the vampire was knocking on his window in the middle of the night,
That was pretty
and he
scary.
came up to open the window to see who was there, and it was a vampire.
Yeah.
That actually scared the heck out of me. I was just a kid when I saw
Should we
it.
talk about dreams again?
Well, I have another movie review to do.
Number 3.
Number 3. Now we're going to get back on track to a lesser-known film, but one I would definitely recommend. Directed by Russ Meyer, who's considered the king of the nudie film back in the 50s and 60s. Russ Meyer. And the film in question is Mud Honey. Mud Honey. Now, Mud Honey is a really interesting film about life in the rural South. It's got some nudity in it, which was kind of its selling point, but believe it or not, it's not really a nudie film. It's a melodrama about life in the rural South, about a really weird family in the rural South. I'd highly recommend it. It's a highly entertaining film. It really is. Mud Honey. If you get a chance, rent it right here at River West Film and Video. Mud Honey. So we did 3 really interesting films tonight. We did Russ Meyer's Mud Honey from 1965. Then we had the classical Stephen King horror film Salem's Lot, which is actually a really scary film. And then we had the 1971 suspense film Duel, which was the first film directed by Stefan, better known as Steven Spielberg. So we did do a bunch of films tonight that I would highly recommend. And I'll leave you on this note about with the film reviews is that River West Film and Video has an excellent selection of films that I don't want to necessarily say they're obscure, but you're not going to find them for rent at your local Blockbuster. They're definitely interesting films. In fact, I think this is one of the finest film rental selections I've seen, even when I lived in San Francisco. This store, no. Chuck, I was a patron of several video stores in San Francisco, and this store here has a heck of a selection. It really does.
Yes, what else?
Well, that's it for that. Now, if we want to talk a little bit...
Can I introduce it?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I like to host the show. I'm hosting the show.
All right.
So now, I like it, but it's kind of pretty simple the way we're doing it. I pretty much go. So now Dave's gonna he's gonna talk about what's the name of this Batman movie?
The Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
Well, I can't talk about it too much because I don't want to give it away for our listeners, but I went to go see The Dark Knight Rises today, and I'm not really even a fan of the Batman movies. I was not a big fan of the last one, The Dark Knight, with Keith Ledger. I thought it was kind of played more for laughs.
I think that was the first one, wasn't it? Oh, no, the second one. You're
Second, well, actually, the trio started in 1989 with Batman, starring Michael Keaton as Batman, and who was the Joker?
Yeah, but there's been so many remakes.
Right, but who was the Joker in the?
Of course, everyone knows that.
Who was it?
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Okay. Then the sequel came out in 92. Who played the Penguin?
The guy from Taxi.
Danny DeVito.
Correct, yeah.
Who played Catwoman?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Okay, so the Batman cycle has been going pretty strong here, and this new one that's out now, The Dark Knight Rises, I personally thought it was the best of the bunch I've seen over the years. I want to compliment Tom Hardy, the British actor who plays the villain Bane in this film. he gives, in my opinion, what is probably one of the more sinister villain performances in any Batman film.
But
Tom Hardy, who plays the villain.
You think this guy's pretty good?
I thought he gave one of the better
He's
performances.
Play Mad Max. He just said he's kind of dressed up like Mad Max.
Well, no. Now I hear now that he's scheduled now to play Mad Max in a remake of Mad Max, which is being filmed currently. Tom Hardy, I thought, did an excellent job in this film as playing the villain. I was not real impressed with Christian Bale's performance as Batman, but Michael Caine as Alfred the Butler, of course, shines. It's
he plays. His name's actually Alfred.
I believe it's Alfred. Yes, the Butler, and he really stands out along with Tom Hardy as the villain. Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. I just didn't do it for me.
Really?
And then there's another actress in there.
She's really sexy.
She is really sexy, but I
getting all these really sexy reviews. Like her outfit is the best Catwoman outfit I've been hearing.
It's pretty sexy. There's no doubt about it. There's another actress in here who plays another woman in here, and I cannot think of her name right now. Her last name is Couillard. She's a French actress.
Do you think Anne Hathaway will go out with me?
You could ask her. But I just think that Tom Hardy really made the film. I really do.
My wife is in the woods.
What?
Naked, so I'm allowed to say stuff like that while she's in the woods naked. I'm allowed, right? She said, I can go out with Anne Hathaway while she's in the woods naked.
Sure, you could. Why don't you call Anne Hathaway up and just ask her if she wants to come on over? But anyway, I want to draw the attention to Tom Hardy, who plays the villain Bane. I've said it before and I'll say it again, that he does an excellent job as the villain. Okay? So, that said, there's one interesting thing in this movie one scene that I want to, it's really a haunting kind of beautiful scene. Despite the fact that he's such an evil villain, he actually seems to be somewhat appreciative of art. And there's a scene in there where he's listening to a little boy sing the national anthem, and he says...
I like it when we highlight guffaws. That's not a guffaw, right? Where you go,
no.
Anthem.
Oh, anthem, the national anthem. He's singing the national anthem, and the villain says, such a lovely, lovely voice. He actually stops to listen to this kid singing for a while. So I thought that was kind of an interesting touch to the movie. It kind of
gave... think about like how sadistic, like it seems like the whole series is. Like it's all into...
It's very violent. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's like, do you think that children should be watching all these sadistic images? Do you think that is...
No, I don't. I think they've made it... I think they've tried to make it geared more towards an adult audience than a child audience.
I don't know, but kids end up watching it.
I know, and it is a very sadistic... I thought the violence level in there was a little too intense for a child. Definitely for a child. Even for a teenager. The violence might have been a little too intense. I mean, this Bane guy... He's a mean guy.
Yes, so I shouldn't take my kids to it, huh? My 12-year-old?
No, Andre will like it. Andre will like it.
I should have just been freestyling GarageBand the whole time. Go ahead, so. It goes like this. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Well, no, I think it's definitely an interesting. I would recommend seeing The Dark Knight Rises. I don't go to a lot of new movies. This one I liked.
Really?
Yeah. And what's interesting about it is instead of getting bogged down in special effects, the filmmakers actually try and spend more time developing the characters in there.
Interesting, yeah.
There's a lot of good characters in there. Some faces from the past you might remember, like Matthew Modine. Can anybody...
He's been in the series. He had a different role.
Yeah. Can anybody tell me what film Matthew Modine was in? An 80s heartthrob film that Madonna did the theme song from.
Yeah, he played like a wrestler.
Right. What was the name of that film? Can you tell me the name of the film and the name of Madonna's theme song?
Came out at the same time as Flashdance.
Yep. What was the name of that film? Can you remember?
No.
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest.
And the theme song was Crazy for You by Madonna. I'm crazy for you.
Madonna was already bad by like, what? Madonna had like one good year.
No, I liked a lot of her stuff. I always liked Madonna.
Actually, when Vogue, I kind of liked, for some reason I liked that album Vogue. I don't know why.
Madonna I thought was always great. She started out with Holiday.
No way.
Oh yeah, I liked all her songs. Holiday, Borderline, Material Girl, Like a Virgin. It Used to Be My Playground, Angel, Dress You Up, La Isla Bonita. The list goes on and on and on.
I hate La Isla Bonita.
Are you serious? I like Madonna's. I love her stuff. Even her newer stuff, like American Life, I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, Madonna's pretty talented.
So wait, we had a little bit more. We only got 3 minutes left.
Wow.
We digressed all the way to
Well,
Madonna.
let's kind of conclude here by touching upon some current events and
So
some
you're
words
not
of
going to
wisdom.
talk about the tragedy that happened.
Well, let's kind of leave that one. Now, we don't want to get into anything too heavy. You're talking about the Batman. I think it was terrible. I think it was horrible that people just want to go see a movie, and it's completely ruined for them by this kind of crazy behavior.
Even worse.
That I think this was the worst of the mass shootings that have occurred over the years, only because
Should I be making fun?
it took place in like a place
Right
where
now,
people want to
probably not.
enjoy themselves.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, it was really a horrible event, and we'll have to see how it unfurls as
So let's move on.
the days go
From the
by.
sadness. Our hearts go out seriously to everybody.
Yep, our hearts go out. We can touch a little bit upon current events, like
We're going to jump back into the silliness.
the insanely hot weather we've been experiencing here in Milwaukee. I don't know if you know it or not, but
We're going to go out with them jamming Folgers.
jamming some Folgers. Well, then I'll just I'll leave you on this note here. I've really enjoyed filling in on this show. I think next week, am I correct? Santiago's back.
Yeah, I think it's in 2 weeks, but I think Shadafa is going to, and maybe Fletcher or Shadafa, we're going to join next week. But Dave, you're more than welcome to
Sure.
come along.
Sure.
Santiago didn't call in. We got about.
No.
I really wanted to go with the Folgers, man.
Well, go ahead with it now. I'm going to stop talking, and we'll let you take us out, Chuck, with the music. Until next time, take care and bear.
How much time we got? 1 minute? I got to find the Folgers.
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to call the garage, Mrs. Olson.
That's Mrs. Olson.
I hate
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Let's have some coffee.
Part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Part of waking up. The best.
The best.
The sunshine says what's up.
The best.
To wake up, you know we're under roof. There's no better time to rise and shine. When I set my face, tastes so kind. The sunshine says what's up. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
I guess we'll be on Shadafa, Fletcher.
There's no better way now to start my day when the sunshine says what's up. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Now to start my day when the sunshine says